Hello friends, in today's session we'll talk about the social participation which is a part of this MPA 011, and that is the State, Society and Public Administration Unit 10. And in this topic, the social participation will cover the meaning of the concept of social participations, how the concept social participation has a link to the democratic political system as well as this administration, that is the governance of this democratic political systems, and what are the determinant who's determined to participate individual group in the collective actions, and what are the type of social participations that we have so far as this social sciences concerns. And we also talk about different theory which support the structure of the participations as well as the barrier, and we'll conclude this at the end of this session. We'll conclude the social participation, its importance. So let's focus on the concept or the meaning of social exactly what it means for the social participation. So before going into the social participation, I would like you to reflect the meaning of the participation. So participation means engagement, individuals, group, engagement with the collective actions of the society, which is they are being impacted by these policy actions. So it is the individual or group which is participate in the basics social process, the collective actions. So social participation refer to the individual involvement or individual engagement in the collective activities of the society, which it could be civil, political, community engagement, so and so. So basically, the social participations reflect the foundation of inclusive development and democratic political functionings, where every individual, every group has a share, has a space to say some things so far as the state function is concerned, so the collective action of the society is concerned. Therefore, we can say the participation is a fundamental concept in both administration and the democratic political system of a political setup. It refers to the involvement of individual and group in decision making process that affect their life where they are living, and participation is not just a right but an essential practice that strengthens the institutions, that is the democratic institution. When people participate, government become more and more transparent, accountable, and it produces legitimacy to the system when more and more individual, more and more people participated in the process. So in this session we'll talk the importance of the participation so far as the public administration is concerned, as well as the link to the democratic political systems in a democracy, how participation is matters. And basically, since the public administration is a part of broader political system, therefore when you establish the link between the participation and democracy, it obviously have a space so far as this administration is concerned, because administration is a part of the greater political governance. So in this connection, we'll understand after the sessions why participation is central to a healthy democracy and effective governance. If because the epicenter of the governance is the people. If people will not participate, then the governance will not have its own effectiveness so far as its objective is concerned. Therefore, participation is must so far as the democratic political system is concerns. So let me go to the concept, literary, how the concept of participation is derived from the Latin word participare, that means to take part or to share or to engage with. It implies involvement in decisions that affect one's lives. It ensures that people needs, voice and perspective are to be recognized by the society. At the societal level, it has to be recognized so that every individual, every group has a space and feel that the democracy, they are in the part of the democracy or democratic political system. The participation refers to the individual or group actively engaging in collective social actions, that is decision making process. It involves contribution to planning, implementation, monitoring and evaluation. That means when the policy is being designed, when the policy is being implementing, and when the policy is being evaluating, in every stages people's participation is required. Therefore individual, being an individual in a group or a community, need to participate so far as the policy process is concerned, starting from the policy design to the policy implementation, policy evaluation and policy outcome. That means starting from the policy design to the policy outcomes, people, the individual, the group need to participate so far as the process is concerned and its outcome. So it reflects a shared responsibility and collective ownership in the society. As I said, when the individual, when the people, when the group participate in the process of planning, implementation, evaluation and so, that means it one way it legitimizes this process. It legitimizes the democratic process. That means people are having consent so far as the governance is concerned. Number two, by the process of participating in the process, they are also addressing their problem at the community level, at the national level, and so and so. So therefore, participation is must. So the concept of participation, as according to WHO, participation is involvement in life situations where the citizen is living. That means in a context, in a society where the individual living, that decision making level or at any level where it is, as I said, it is in the planning level or implementation level or evaluation level, when citizens participation is required because they are the stakeholder of the outcome. And insofar as sociological view is concerned, it is engagement in community network and share activities. That means what is going on at the societal level, it has to be shared by every individual. So the key element so far as the participation is concerned, interactions. That means individual group has to be interacted with one another, intra as well as the intergroup interactions, contributions. Every individual, every group has to contribute so far as their capacity and role in the society is concerned, and it is a collective effort, and decision making process is a collective action for the collective purposes. Therefore participation reflect that since the outcome would be affected by every individual, therefore the individual, those who are in the process, has to be take participately in an active way, not in a passive way. As I said, active and passive. Passive in the sense those who are engaging, deliberating and informed citizen. The other one, passive, is simply participating just because of the sake of the participation. So democratic political process will be more strengthened, accountable and responsible if the citizen would have engaged and active participations. So what are the theory which support to this the concept and the process of participation? So the theory here helps to understand why people participate and what are the structure which support the participation of the people. See, structure, I mean, so there must be some structural process where the individual group can have a space to participate. Therefore theory support to the structure where the individual group can participate. So far as various theory is concerned, I will reflect very shortly each and every theory. First we will discuss the classical democratic theory. Classical democratic theory, it is the starting point of the democratic political process where the citizen is a subject, and subject need to be participate so far as its self rule is concerned. So here the direct process of direct participation process has been emphasized. In later on, when the democracy has been evolved from the direct to the representative democracies, the participatory democratic process where society grown, direct process of participation is not possible in a big society like India. Therefore, there is a representative democratic process where whose representatives can take part in the process for the whole masses. So the participatory democratic theory argue for the logical debate, coherence, and informed citizen through their representative, they can participate. And the third one is the deliberate democracy, which is the theory mostly argued by Jürgen Habermas, that deliberation is must. If a democracy there is no deliberations, the conclusion may not be accumulated the interest of the every citizen. Therefore, deliberation is must. That means deliberation also curtail the dictatorship or the majoritarian dominance so far as the democracy is concerned. Therefore, the deliberation is must in a democratic process so far as the Habermas is concerned. So in elite theory always argue that since the resources are not equally distributed and everyone is not access to the power structure or the state apparatus to take participate. Therefore, it is the elite, the few people, the group of people who can take decision on behalf of the masses. Therefore, all cannot be possible to take part in the decision making process. Take the example in India. If we cite the example of decision making at the top level, the parliament level, since the parliament is the highest body to take the decisions, all the MP, both Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha, are not taking part actively so far as the decision making process is concerned. It is the cabinet who take the decision. Even though it is not all the member of the cabinet, it is the core cabinet. It may be included the prime minister, home minister, and few other ministers whose portfolio are much more important. They take the decision initially, and that decision has to be endorsed by the cabinet as a whole. Then after that, it is the house, those who are majority, because cabinet has a majority, that approve in the house. So in the process, deliberation is possible because house is for deliberations, but ultimately the decision is taken by the elite. That is the elite among the MPs, elite among the cabinet, which you can say the core cabinet. So it is always the small group of people who always take decision, whether it is the case of India or some other country. The rational choice theory argue that people always take part in the decision if they have the interest, and if they have the interest, they need to participate in the decision. If they are not having the interest, they don't take part in the. This is always rational choice theory talking about the interest. So next we'll talk about the governance theory. In a governance theory, see, governance theory talking about the participatory mode of governance. That is the state, civil society, other non-state actors which come together will have the governance. Therefore, here the collaborative model of governance will be possible, where every stakeholder has a share so far as the state's governance process is concerned. So last but not the least, I'll reflect the feminist theory of participation. So far as feminist theory of participation argue that, see, in all society, including India, society is divided into two groups, basically the male and female. And in all society, in all the ages, it is the male society, or it is the male dominate over the female. That is what we will call the patriarchal mode of the society, or the patriarchal nature of the society, where it is the male always dominant to the female. It because of the cultural constant or many more other practices. But it is the fact that the male is always dominant and take the decision on behalf of the female. It is the participation or taking decision at the home level, at the national level, or any other societal level, the equal share of power is not between the male and female. Rather, it is always the male dominate the female and take decision on behalf. Therefore, feminist theory talking about that it is the patriarchal society always take decision on behalf of the female. Therefore, the society is not equally divided, and both male and female are not equally taking decisions in the collective decision making process. Rather, it is the male. So these are the various theory which help and support the structure of the participation, so far the social participation are concerned. So what are the type of social participation? What are the, as I said, the various theory which we are talking about, then what are the basics type? I'm not talking each and every point of division of social participation. Basically, in umbrella type, I'll reflect some categorization of social participation. First, the civic participation, and that is the citizen engagement with the public meeting, committee, so and so. Being a civic, being a civilian, the citizen need to participate in the civic participations, what I explains. The second one is the political participation, because when we are talking about participation, more or less, whether it is apolitical man or political man, everyone imagine the political participations, and political participation varies from voting, campaigning, agenda settings, many things. So this is the way where the state representative in a liberal democratic political process has been chosen, and citizen need to participate so far as this electoral process is concerned. So electoral process is one of the mechanism where the citizen participate for their political purpose. The other one, the administrative participation. What is administrative participation? Says there is a difference between political participation and administrative participation. In the electoral process, when the citizen or group is participating and related to the electoral process, it is maybe voting, campaign, so and so, it is known as the political process. Administrative process of participation is like, as I said, when the policy has been designed, when policy has been implementing, when policy has been evaluating, when policy's outcome is we are judging. In every stage, citizen participation is required, because it push for the accountability of the system, so far as its citizens issues, citizens concerns, and objective of the public policy is concerned. So it is the mechanism where the citizen can tie the knot of this system, the agency, that is the state apparatus, for the fixing of the accountability. So it makes this system for the accountable for its duty towards the citizen. So it is a interfacing between the citizen and the state apparatus, and that is the what we can say in public administration, agent. It may be collector is a agent, it may be BDO is a agent, it may be SDM is a agent, because they are the state apparatus, agent of the state to implement of the public policy. So so system has to provide a space for the citizen to participation in the administrative process, and it could provide for a transparent, accountable, and inclusive governance. So the other one is the cultural participation. Cultural participation reflect the related to the culture, that is the festival, arts, tradition, so and so. See, the other one is the community participation. Community participations reflect volunteering, welfare activities, like today's the civil society is working, that is community participation, NGOs, community participation, so and so. These are the various type of social participation which I have discussed before you. Later we will move to the, in a democratic political system, citizen or individual are participating, whether it is actively participating or passively participating. So the question is, why participation matters in a democratic political system? That means why a citizen need to participate so far as its process, political process is concerned. Is it the essential of a citizen to participate in a political system? The answer is certainly yes, it is, because in a democratic political system, the epicenter of the entire process, I would say the hero of this entire process is the citizen. Therefore, the citizen's participation is highly required. If there is no citizen participation, so far as the political, democratic political process is concerned, so to whom the system is working for, therefore citizen participation is highly essential. And after participation, what will it produce? It produces what? It produces democratic legitimacy. As I said, it enhances democratic legitimacy. When the citizen participate in the process, that means the process is being legitimized, given consent by the individual citizen. So it improves service delivery like transparency, accountability in the system. It improves quality of the governance. So many scholars argue that there is a poor governance or misgovernance. So that has to be checked when the individual, when the group participate in the process. So it promotes social justice like inclusion, no inclusion of all the individual and all the group, what you can say, the inclusive development. So it is the way for the inclusive development. That means every group, every individual of the political system will take part both at the process as well as the outcome of the political processes. So it strengthens civic responsibility and ensure accountability. Accountability of what? Accountability of the result, and accountable to the citizen, and community ownership, sense of community ownership would be developed among the citizens. So it enhances local problem solving. That means people can solve their problem at their local level if they come together and have participate at the, take the example, the best example is after 73rd constitutional amendment in PRI, the PRI encourages solving of the problem by the local people, that is through local representative. That means the Panchayat Raj having the system to address their problem at the Panchayat level through their Panchayat representative. So what is the correlations between participation and democracy? As I said, in a democracy, participation is must, and the entire focus point, the entire the process is for the people, by the people. Therefore, in a democracy, participation has a role, and who will participate? And that is the citizen will participate. So foundation of democratic decision making. So participation is one of the foundation of democratic decision making. It ensures diverse voice and interest which can be represented through participations. So support deliberations. When you are participating in a decision making process, it support the deliberations and consensus building in rather than the contradictions. So prevent authoritarian tendency. If there will be no participation, that is the chances that majoritarian can rule over through its authoritarian nature of the system. So what is the correlationship between participation and administration? So participation improve efficiency, effectiveness in the public service deliberations, because it is the citizen who can check the state agencies or the delivery agencies. Therefore, they will be more care about the delivery of the system. So it builds trust between the citizen and the government. So there is no lack of anything, since it emphasize the transparency of the system. Therefore, transparency will build trust between citizen and the governance. It reduce, since they are maintaining the transparency, citizens are engaged. Therefore, it reduces the corruption through oversight and encourage innovation through citizen input. So what are the determinant of social participation? So can we say all are equally participate, or can we say all are easy to participate? So what are the determinant which determine the individual engagement in the the political system or the administrative system. Number one, it is the educations. If you are educated enough, therefore you are knowing the things, that means education and awareness link together to push a individual, push a group to participate in the process. If you are not educated or less educated, you are less awareness, therefore you are less participated. The second one is the socio-economic status. A socio-economic status reflect that if you are struggling for your belly, to fill your belly, that means you poverty is not leaving you to participate in the social activities. That means you are no time to participate in the social activity. Therefore, socio and economic. As I explained, it is the economic part. Social part is the structural barrier. Take the example, the social exclusion, discrimination. Take the example in today's times. Even if we have a democratic political system, at a village level, no, there is a practice of caste system and many more stigmatized caste. I quote unquote stigmatized caste community are not allowed to participate in the village community level. Therefore, the socio and economic status of the individual and group encourage or give avenue to the participate in the social activities. The other one, the gender. As I said, the structural issues also reflect to control the gender, which is linked to the cultural practices. And in many cases, including India, women are not being allowed to participate in many social activities, and it is the male who always dominate. So the patriarchal society need to be addressed and need to be democratized so far as the gender justice is concerned. So gender is one of the issues. I'll discuss next sessions linked to this topic also, how gender is playing a greater role, and gender is excluded so far as the practice social practice is concerned. Last but not the least is the accessibility and institutional sector. How you are accessible and how the institution are being supporting for your participation. So what are the barrier? Briefly, I'll explain it. The social discrimination and exclusion is one of the barrier. Poverty is a barrier. Lack of resources is a barrier. The bureaucratic hurdle and poor governance is a barrier. Lack of awareness, as I explained earlier, a lack of awareness which linked to the motivation is a barrier. Social and economic inequality is a barrier. There is social structure. Culture is a barrier, and institutional constraint and digital divide also one of the barrier. So how we can that are the barrier. So how can address the barrier? How we can strengthen the participation? It could be through political and civic educations, gender sensitive policies, digital inclusion, strengthen local governance and institutions, transparent and participatory process in the political systems. So let me conclude how and why I have discussed. Let me conclude these issues of participation so far as democracy, political system and administration is concerned. So social participation is essential for development, strengthen democracy and social empowerment. It requires inclusive policy and community support, encourage collective responsibility, and it has to be strengthened through continuous reform and awareness. Then and there, the participation can be possible. So thanking you all